I'm Gabe Jaksich.
I'm Chico Cortez.
And today in Convention Connection, straight from New York, Tattoo Society World Expo.
They're gonna bring you insight that no other show is gonna bring you.
Convention Connection.
In the industry, there is a before Paul Wood and after Paul Wood. A lot of people that try to copy it, try to even put vodka for the shading, and they fail the attempt. There is one Paul Wood, there is one.
You made dark light.
I never understood, like, this is gonna sound probably f***ed up, but like,
Go for it.
back then I had a certain recipe, you know, of how I did things, which is why my work always looks similar, because it's a particular style that's unique, or was, and dynamic in its own way. And I had a certain way of shading, you know, making texture. Nobody seemed to be able to do it. And I noticed that, and I couldn't really understand it because it's f***ing simple.
No,
You know?
Well, you
no.
said it
To
a
me.
little while ago.
To you.
I know.
You said
Oh, we all
had-
failed trying to copy those shadings. And he mentioned something that to me was key, is the textures.
Yeah.
He tattooed in a way that you can feel it without touching it.
Even without his tattooing, the vision he has to grab something that somebody's finds something so sanctified, I'm gonna say, or so glorious, and he made it dark.
Yeah.
And I made an evil koala bear once.
I didn't see that.
Oh,
Yeah.
like I said,
And a
Alice
bunny
in
rat.
Wonderland.
Evil bunny rat, too.
Alice in Wonderland, that flash.
Yeah.
Evil as fuck.
If you had to label your work, what would you label it? Would you say the model?
I just call it dark surrealism.
Dark surrealism.
Because it's, you know, it has realism in it, but it's twisted and deformed into, I try and take monsters and make them believable, you know? So I use a bit of realism in my monsters so that they look, you know, it's like tricking the brain. If you follow the laws of nature, like lighting and shade and perspective and composition and all the fundamentals in art, if you follow that, you can make the most f***ed up drawing and look real.
Yeah.
You know, because you're tricking the senses, you're tricking the brain into thinking it's real because it's following the rules of light and shade and so on, you know? So I always understood that and tried to make my shit look real, even though it was all made up. It's almost like breathing life into a monster, you know? It was intimidating back then.
Yeah.
Like, him and Rudy are probably my two greatest tattoo mentors,
Wow.
especially in my early years.
Wow.
Gil taught me about ethics. Gil taught me about being crazy. Gil taught me just all kinds of things about tattooing. Not as much on the technical side. That was more Rudy, you know? But Gil taught me about respecting tattooing and having fun with it, you know? There was a side to tattooing where it was almost like wrestlers. You know, when I say persona, I'm like, there's Gil Montie, you know, and
Character.
the character of the artist, yeah. You know, now it's too diluted for any of that. But back then it was like, you knew who the artists were, you knew their styles, you knew their characters, you know, and it was a smaller group, so it was a lot more personal.
You should have a lot of magic. The tattoo man. Meeting the tattoo man. Like,
Well,
for example, Gil.
Gil told me once in the early days, he was hanging out with Motley Crue,
Yeah.
making movies and, you know, Hollywood and all that crazy shit. And, you know, he told me the only person a rock star looks up to is a tattoo
artist.
And I thought about it, I'm like,
Yes, sir.
you know, I think he's right, you know, and you know, because I would tattoo bands a lot, go on the road with different bands, metal bands and that sort of thing. And I would tattoo the rock stars backstage, you know, and they would like wear my shirts on stage. They're the ones who got me into rolling stuff, you know.
The Cavalera brothers.
They opened the doors for me.
Yeah.
My first tour they brought me out on, and it was 1994. It was Pantera, Sepultura, and Biohazard.
Brother.
That was my first tour.
I'll tell you. And I remember the Cavalera brothers were just being fan of your pieces and your style and the
we really meshed together good.
the persona. So that's what you're saying, you know. It's just it wasn't customers. They become like a attracted to the persona, the character, and
Sure,
the
sure.
style, the what you were doing.
It's all part of it, you know. It was all part of it. It wasn't just talent, you know. It was leaving a mark. People don't stand out as having a presence or any real character to them anymore. There's a lot of amazing talent in tattooing.
But it's
now.
no, yes,
But-
but more the
no
same.
soul,
You
you know.
I think like it's just that's the word. There is no soul.
I think he hit it right on the head when he said something about pro wrestlers.
Yeah.
Like I see Gil Montie like a Jesse the Body Ventura with the
Yeah.
cape.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? It's like
yeah.
it's the persona, the character,
Yeah.
what they would represent, and what
Even larger than life.
yeah,
you know?
and you wanted to copy and emulate that. You know what
You
I'm
don't
saying?
see
So-
that anymore in just
Well, you know-
nowadays. You don't see it.
People had a longer attention span back then. Now it's like doom
I never
scrolling,
thought of that, yeah.
Flicking past
The
images that
distractions of
you
the
know,
modern
you
life.
barely even seen anymore, you know. And you know, certain people stand out, but it's like a flash in the pan. You're hot for a minute. It ain't 15 minutes like it used to be. Now it's like 30 seconds, you know. And you're famous for 30 seconds and then you're forgotten, you know, because there's too many. And I don't mean too many like it's a problem. I mean, there's just so many artists.
Yeah.
And so many good artists that it's hard for any individual to really shine.
Yeah, but just
know.
Paul, you know what you're saying is just, for example, for me that I leave it and I get my Baphomet pendant on you.
Uh-huh.
Okay, the tattoo artists used to come with the character, the halo around that. Just you were doing your style, what you were doing, the dark arts that we used to call it the dark arts, and you don't see that anymore. You see
Correct.
more of the same. It's like a
Cast back then. You know, tattooing comes from criminals and carnivals, you know? And there was still that lingering around when I started in '88. There was still that. It was still a lot of crime in tattooing. And you had people that were not part of mainstream society. Let's leave it at that. And now you have kids coming out of art school, which is great, you know, but they don't have the life experiences we did. It's like Gen X versus Gen, what is it now, Z or
Z.
something?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You know, we drank water from the garden hose. They sip Evian from, you know, a glass, whatever. I don't know how to make that comparison, but I mean, basically, you know, it's so mainstream now. Like I said earlier, it lost its soul. It's not just the art that's losing its soul. You can be an amazing artist, but if you're not living tattooing and wearing tattoos for one, you know, there's no way you can put soul into your work. You know, soul is something that like, it's not tangible. It's underneath the art, and just like in a painting. There's something that moves people that's not necessarily on the surface. It's like underneath the radar, you know, and you see it, but you don't recognize that you're seeing it. When I'm impressed, it's usually art that stands alone. It's unique. It's not generic, you know, and it speaks to me.
And it can influence
Yeah.
part of the people on the craft.
Soul to be the influence.
Bro, I used to look at the pictures of the magazines,
All right,
and we tried to copy you, and we couldn't. We just Paul Wood. So, you're the man.
Well, thank you.
You're the man.
I hope you enjoyed that interview. If you did, please like, subscribe, share it, tell your friends about it. Watch the next interview right here. If you're a tattoo shop owner looking to build up your team of artists, or you just want to make sure that the best up-and-coming artists in your area end up in your shop and not someone else's, then go to inkdifferenttattoos.com/connect so we can help.